All right, let's talk about something that might just flip the way you think about building software. What if I told you the database could be the application? Not just hold the data, but be the whole thing. It sounds a little crazy, I know, but we're going to deconstruct a platform called TSQL.APP that's been doing this in the real world for years. So let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with a question that, probably hits a little too close to home for anyone who's ever worked with enterprise software. Why is it just so rigid, so slow to change? I mean, we've all been there, right? That feeling of hitting a brick wall when you need to make what should be a simple change. Well, a lot of the time, it's because we're stuck in what you could call the enterprise software trap. Think about it. The user interface is packed with hard-coded business rules. All that logic is tangled up together, so one little change over here can break something totally unexpected over there. And deployments? Oh man, they become these massive, slow, super risky ceremonies that take days. Customizations cost an arm and a leg. It's just this endless, frustrating cycle. Okay, but what if we just blew that whole model up? What if the user interface had zero business logic? I mean, nothing. Imagine a UI that's completely, for lack of a better word, dumb. It's just a rendering engine. It has no clue what business it's even for. That is the wild, provocative idea that TSQL.app is built on. And the founder of TSQL.app, a guy named RH, has this absolutely perfect metaphor for it. He says, the platform creates the screenplay, and the client is just an actor. I love that. So, picture a movie set, right? The platform, the back end, that's the director. It writes an incredibly detailed script. And the client, the UI, that's just the actor. They show up, they get their lines, and they perform them exactly as written. No ad-libbing, no questions asked. So let's break that screenplay idea down a little further. The director, that's your SQL server. It's the one writing the detailed script of commands that defines the whole experience. The script itself, that's all just configuration living in the database. It spells out every single rule, every field, every action. And finally, the actor, that's your front-end UI. It could be React, it could be Vue, it doesn't matter. Its only job is to blindly follow that script. Okay, so how in the world does this actually work in practice? Let's peel back the layers and look at the heart of the machine, which all starts with a really clever dual database pattern. This right here is the magic. It's all about a clean separation of concerns. You have two databases. On one side, you've got your app database. This is the what. It's all your business data, customer records, transactions, all that stuff. Then on the other side, you have the app proj database. This is the how. It's the screenplay. It contains all the application rules, the UI definitions, the permissions, everything. And you see that. One single how database can drive a whole bunch of different what databases. And here's why that separation is such a game changer. It means you can completely change the entire application's behavior, the whole look and feel, the business logic, everything, without ever touching or even risking your actual business data. It's an incredible amount of flexibility, and it's so much safer. Which brings us to the next big idea, building with configuration, not code. I mean, if the script defines the whole app, how do you actually write it? Well, you don't write code, you just write data into tables. Check this out. This is the central registry for the whole system, a table called API card. Every single row in this one table defines a screen or a view in the UI. You give it a name, like sales orders. You tell it what table or view to get its data from. You can add a filter with a simple where clause, and you can even define permission rules, like who's allowed to update what. It's all just data in a table. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This single table is doing the job of what would normally be thousands and thousands of lines of UI and controller code. And this is huge because the application's logic is now just structured data. It's not just for human developers anymore. It can be read, versioned, and yes, even written by other systems, maybe even an AI. An API card is just the beginning. There's a whole universe of these configuration tables. You've got API card fields to define every single field on a screen, its calculations, its lookups. API card children handles the navigation between screens. API card actions defines what happens when you click a button. API user role for super granular permissions. Even API SQL tasks for automated jobs. The entire application, soup to nuts, is just data in tables. All right, so this all sounds really cool in theory, but what does it actually mean? What's the revolutionary payoff here? Let's talk about the tangible benefits, because they are pretty staggering. And to really get a feel for the impact, let's just do a quick compare and contrast. First up, the deployment cycle we all know, and well, we all know it. Yeah, this probably looks painfully familiar, right? Day 1, you write some code. Day 2, you wait for a peer review. Day 3, you're running the build pipeline. Day 4, it's stuck in manual QA testing. And finally, on day 5, you schedule the actual nerve-wracking deployment. A whole week, maybe more, for just one change. Okay, now let's look at the TSQL app deployment. And yeah, you can hear the air quotes in my voice because it's barely a deployment at all. Here it is. Step 1, you update a row in one of those configuration tables. Maybe you add a new field or tweak a permission. Step 2, you're done. That's it. The change is instantly live. For everyone, no code, no pipeline, no downtime. It's just a single SQL update. A change so simple, an automated process or an AI could do it in a blink. So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, the benefits are just crystal clear. You get this incredible flexibility to mold the software to any business domain on the fly. Security isn't an afterthought, it's baked right into the database layer, where it's strongest. Your development and deployment speed is just on another planet. And things like multi-tenancy, they're not a challenge, they're native to the architecture. And if you want the ultimate proof of that whole actor metaphor, get this. The platform is so robust, it supports 2 completely different front-end clients. One is built in React, it's been running in production for over 5 years, and they have another one built in Vue. And guess what? They are functionally identical. Why? Because they're just 2 different actors reading the exact same script from the database. And that right there brings us full circle, back to the big idea we started with. When your front end is just a performer, and all the rules, all the logic, all the UI, when it's all just data, well then the database really, truly is the application. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If your entire application, the logic, the security, the user interface, is all just structured data, what does that make possible? Just imagine. Imagine an AI that doesn't need to write messy, complex code. Instead, it just writes the screenplay. It inserts and updates rows in these configuration tables, building and modifying incredibly complex enterprise features in seconds. This isn't just another way to build software. It's a blueprint for a future where the line between data and application completely disappears.